Dear students and friends, very good morning to all. In this video lecture, I will be explaining about the drugs used for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19. First of all, I would like to discuss about the replication of the virus in host cell. Here you can see the structure of SARS-CoV-2, which contains two spike protein S1 and S2, and this is our host cell. So the attachment of S1 with the ACU2 receptor can be inhibited by the chloroquine. The attachment of spike protein 2 with the TMP or SS2, that is transmembrane protease serine 2 receptor, can be inhibited by the nafamostate and the camostate. So after this attachment by means of endocytosis, the virus enter into our host cell. It is called the endosome. When this endosome undergoes acidification, that is endosomal acidification, there will be release of the virus genome, that is nothing but RNA, because SARS-CoV-2 is a RNA containing virus. So this endosomal acidification can be effectively inhibited by the chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine. After this release of genome, there will be a translation by host machinery. The translation is nothing but RNA is converted into protein. So here there will be involvement of enzymes. For example, 3 chymotrypsin lipase protease and papain-like protease. So the chymotrypsin-like protease can be inhibited by the lopinavir and the ritonavir, whereas the papain-like protease can be inhibited by the disulfiram, which was used for the treatment of alcoholic de-addiction. After this translation machinery, there will be proteolysis that leads to formation of the replication complex, including RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. So this replication complex can be inhibited by the remdesivir and favipiravir. After this replication complex, there will be transcription and again translation. So this can be effectively inhibited by the cyclosporin A, which is acting on the calcineurin NF-AT pathway. So after this formation of all the viral particles, there will be assembly or packaging of new virion, and that leads to the release of newly formed virus. The process is called exocytosis. The newly formed virus can able to combine with the antigen presenting cells, thereby the release of cytokine. This is called cytokine storm, which is responsible for the mortality in COVID-19 infected patients. So the combination of the newly formed virion with the antigen presenting cells can be inhibited by the interferon beta. The release of cytokines with the interleukin 6 receptors. The cytokine which is released can able to combine with the interleukin 6 receptors of our lungs, that leads to hyperinflammation. So the combination of the cytokine with the interleukin 6 receptor can be effectively inhibited by the sarilumab and tocilizumab. So these are all the drugs used for the treatment of COVID-19 at present. Now, as per the molecular docking studies, there may be possibilities of the searching inhibitors for three important proteins of COVID-19. The important proteins which is involved in the COVID-19 are three. One is the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. The second one is ACE2, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, and the third one is spike glycoprotein, that is S1 as well as S2. So many phytochemicals, terpenoids based phytochemicals, for example, limonene and scopodelsic acid B were effectively inhibited. These important proteins involved in COVID-19 through the molecular docking studies. The molecular docking studies of potential drug candidates showing anti-COVID-19 activity. For example, drugs like oseltamivir, ritonavir, remdesivir, ribavirin, favipiravir have been tried against the molecular proteins which is involved in SARS-CoV-2. Apart from this, chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine is also tried. They have shown prominent binding interactions with SARS spike glycoprotein and human ACE2 complex. There is an in silico evaluation of the COVID-19 main protease with the clinically approved drugs. The 8 approved drugs belonging to 4 categories. For example, antimalarial, antibacterial, anti-infective, and antihistamines have been tried for inhibition of the protease enzyme. Out of these 8 approved drugs, limicycline, an anti-infective, mesalazine, an antihistamine, have been shown prominent inhibition of this particular protease. And this tables shows the use of existing antiviral drugs for the treatment of COVID-19. For example, favipiravir, ribavirin, penciclovir, remdesivir, galidesivir, and 6 fluorinated azithromycin analogs and acyclovir fluximide analogs have been used for the treatment of COVID-19, and some of the drugs were under the clinical trials. With respect to favipiravir, how it can be effectively used for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2. The favipiravir is more effective in early stages of the infections rather than the later stages. The early stages is mild and moderate in which the viral replication rate is more but the body immune response is very less. So in this particular stage can be controlled with the early uses of antiviral drugs. Whereas in later stages, that is severe and critical stages, the virus replication is slows down, whereas the body's violent immune response is more. That leads to diminished effect of the antiviral drugs. The patients mainly depends on other drugs with ventilators for survival. With respect to favipiravir, it has a proven in vitro activity against SARS-CoV-2. It has wide therapeutic safety margin for COVID-19, and it has shown promising result in a couple of studies in China. And this is the drug which is available in oral form. That is the major benefit, especially when the hospital infrastructure is under strain. The last one is it has been already was approved for the novel or re-emerging pandemics, influenza virus infections in Japan. The mechanism of action of favipiravir is it inhibits the activity of RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. So this favipiravir can be effectively combined with imifinavir for the synergistic effect because imifinavir that interact with the virus attachment to fusion with the infected cells. Even if it enters into the host cell, the favipiravir inhibits the RNA-dependent RNA polymerase so that the combination may exhibit the synergistic activity. In patients with COVID-19, the ACP recommends the 5 days treatment with remdesivir in patients with moderate COVID-19. The 5 days treatment with remdesivir in patients with severe COVID-19 who do not require ventilation, consider extending remdesivir treatment for 10 days in patients with severe COVID-19 who require the ventilation. Now, what is the role of hydroxychloroquine in COVID-19? As earlier I said, COVID-19 combined with the ACE2 receptors and forms endosome. So the endosome has to get acidified for the release of the genome, the RNA. So the endosomal acidification can be effectively inhibited by hydroxychloroquine because it is a weak base that increases the pH of the endolysosome and prevents the activity of the lysosomal enzyme. Now, the hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin as a treatment of COVID-19 means these clinical trials has been carried out in hospitals in Marseille, Nice, Avignon, and Bringon, all in South France. They have used 42 COVID-19 infected patients, out of which 6 patients received the normal care without any drug treatment, while 26 other patients have treated with the hydroxychloroquine. Out of these 26 hydroxychloroquine treated patients, 20 completed the study and 6 patients have been treated with the azithromycin and antibiotic. So at the end of 26th day, on day 6, that is after starting of azithromycin on day 6, most of the 16 control patients, about half of the 14 hydroxychloroquine treated patients, and none of the 6 hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin treated patients were PCR positive. So this open label non-randomized clinical trials recommends the combined administration of the hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin for effective cure of the COVID-19. What is the role of ACE inhibitors in COVID-19? ACE inhibitors, as you know, that it is used for the treatment of hypertension, whereas the role of ACE inhibitors in COVID-19 is like this. Angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2 by means of angiotensin converting enzyme 1 by cleaving two amino acids. So this angiotensin 2 is converted into angiotensin 1 to 7 by cleaving of one amino acid with the help of ACE2. Okay, now when the SARS-CoV-2 form complex with the ACE2, angiotensin converting enzyme 2, what happens? Angiotensin 2 will be remaining as angiotensin 2. It is not converted into angiotensin 1 to 7. So, the accumulation of this angiotensin 2 may potentially contributing to the inflammations in the lungs that makes COVID-19 patients so deadly. There may be chances of repurposing of calcium channel blockers as antiviral drugs because the virus attachment and penetration require the calcium ions. So, calcium channel blockers may be considered as an effective measure in the containment of the COVID-19 viruses. There may be chances of utilization of the estrogen receptor modulator in coronavirus 19 patients. Here you can see the mechanism. The SARS-CoV-2 can able to attach with the host target protein that can be effectively inhibited by selective estrogen receptor modulator. At the same time, the release of interleukin 6, which is responsible for the cytokine storm, can also be effectively inhibited by the selective estrogen receptor modulators. Now, these are all some of the existing drugs which is repurposed for treatment of COVID-19. For example, anti-androgens, dutasteride, finasteride, vitamin D, nafamostate, camostate, spironolactone, epinephrine, N-acetylcysteine, ACE inhibitors, angiotensin receptor blockers, glucocorticoids, dexamethasone. All these drugs can be tried for the treatment of COVID-19. This strategy is called the repurposing of drugs for the treatment of coronavirus 2. And there may be chances of the utilization of various anti-cancer drugs for the treatment of coronavirus. And this diagram explains the druggable targets in the SARS-CoV-2 post crosstalk by anti-cancer drugs in various stages. For example, the endocytosis can be inhibited by carmorphin, carfilzomib, and valrubicin. The combination of the SARS-CoV-2 with the TMPRSS2 can be inhibited by duvelisib, saracatinib, and imatinib. The translation of the structural protein can be inhibited by dactinomycin. The RNA replication can be inhibited by sotaterifin and plitipsin. Combination of the protein and nucleocapsid can be inhibited by various anti-cancer drugs, and upregulations of the immune checkpoint can be inhibited by camarylizumab, nivolumab, and pembrolizumab. The cytokine storm associated dysfunctional immune response can be inhibited by ruxolitinib, lorlatinib, ibrutinib, etc. So these are all some of the monoclonal antibodies used for the treatment of cancer can be tried for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2 also. So with this, I have completed the drugs used for the treatment of SARS-CoV-2. Thank you.